In this video, I want to talk about some of the things that I have noticed about the British culture or about the way of life in the UK that I feel we can all learn from as Zimbabweans. Having lived in the United Kingdom for over 2 decades now, there are certain things that I've noticed about the way British people are, or the way they conduct themselves, or the way they run their lives, so to speak, that I think as Zimbabweans we can all learn from. I'm not making this video to compare Zimbabwe to the United Kingdom or to try and convince you that you should turn Zimbabwe into a little Britain, so to speak. That's not why I'm making this video, because of course as Zimbabweans, as Africans, we do things our own way, but that doesn't mean that we can't learn from other people, other cultures, other countries, and so on. There's always room for improvement. There's always something to learn. Now, having lived, as I said, here in the UK for a while now, I have realized one thing, or one thing has become apparent to me, and that thing is that the British people have got a strong sense of citizenship. Now, what do I mean by a strong sense of citizenship? I mean that the British people have got a strong connection to their country. They feel that strong sense of belonging to their country. They are proud to be British, and they don't just say it. Now, I'm not saying that we are not proud as Zimbabweans. I mean, I'm also one of those people who is always saying how proud I am to be Zimbabwean, but there's a difference when it comes to pride just by talking and pride through deeds. Now, we can talk and talk about our pride or how proud we are as Zimbabweans, and indeed we do talk about that, and I know the majority of us are proud to be Zimbabweans. That is undisputed. But what I'm trying to get at is that, or when I'm comparing, this is my observation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how or what I've observed. If I may pose a question, and it's a genuine question, given everything that is going on at the moment, and I'm aware of our challenges and everything, do you think that we feel that strong sense of citizenship? Do you think that we feel that strong sense of connection to Zimbabwe? And if we do, are we showing it through our deeds? Because citizenship, or that sense of citizenship, it's also about taking responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly in our society, in our country. That is what it's all about. It's about having that strong sense of pride, strong sense of connection to our culture. And speaking of culture, I'm talking about things like our language. Are we proud of our languages? Do we value our languages? And if we're proud of our culture, our languages, everything that comes with our culture, how are we showing it, or how are we demonstrating it? Because there's no point in just saying that, oh, I'm proud to be Zimbabwean, but your actions or your way of life doesn't portray that, doesn't demonstrate that. And also, one thing I've come to understand about the British people, having lived here for a while now, is that their pride goes deep. Their pride goes so deep. They respect everything that makes Britain Britain. They respect everything that makes Britain successful, everything that makes Britain great. They respect their ancestry, they respect their heritage, they respect their kings and queens. They respect everything that makes Britain Britain. Now, I pose a question once again. Us as Zimbabweans, do we respect our kings and queens? Do we value them? Do we regard them highly? Because it pains my heart when people talk about our culture being demonic. They look down on what makes Zimbabwe Zimbabwe. Because I've read some comments on X. I mean, people will make comments such as, oh, if you want me to respect this, or if you want me to sing the national anthem, for example, if you want me to sing the national anthem, then I want this to happen first. I mean, I don't understand. These are certain things that I don't understand. Maybe I'm lost. If I'm lost, then please correct me. Because this is how I see it. I see there are certain things about Zimbabwe that I feel have got nothing at all to do with politics. Certain things have got nothing at all to do with political parties. They've got nothing to do with anyone. They've got nothing to do with one single person. The fact that we are now attaching those things to people, the fact that we are saying that I'm not going to honor this, or I'm not going to bother recognizing this unless you fill in the gaps. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The fact that we are attaching those things, the things that make Zimbabwe Zimbabwe, things that we should be proud of as Zimbabweans, things linked to our heritage, things linked to our culture, the symbolic things that come with our nation, the symbols of our nation that have got nothing, or that should not have anything to do with one single person. The fact that now we are saying, I won't respect this unless it means we have now degraded that thing that is attached to our citizenship, that sense of citizenship that I'm trying to explain here, that sense of attachment to our country, that sense of identity that is linked to Zimbabwe. As Zimbabweans, are we really proud of our ancestry? Are we really proud of what makes Zimbabwe Zimbabwe? I'll give an example of here in the UK. On D-Day, the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, left D-Day early and people were gobsmacked. There was an uproar such that the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, had to apologize, had to explain himself why he left D-Day early. Because D-Day is an important day in the United Kingdom. It makes Britain, it is one of those things that make Britain Britain. So if someone says Happy Heroes Day or Happy Independence Day, people get upset. People start saying all kinds of things. But these are things that make Zimbabwe Zimbabwe. These are things that whoever is running the country, it doesn't matter who it is, must respect. Whoever is running the show must recognize. People come and go, but certain things about Zimbabwe will always be there, regardless. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this is where I'm coming from with this. There are certain things about Zimbabwe that will remain, that must remain, regardless. I won't be here 100 years from now. Most of us won't be here, if not all of us. We won't be here. But guess what? Zimbabwe will still be here. Things that make Zimbabwe Zimbabwe will still be here. And those are the things that I'm talking about. Do we even know what those things are? Do we even recognize them? So that sense of citizenship, that sense of connection, I feel it has now been lost. We have lost it. We've lost that. We regard our culture as demonic. We don't even like our own skin. We don't even like our own skin. We look down on those people who've got darker skin tones, not realizing that actually they are rich. That melanin that God gave us is what makes us special. We don't realize, we don't recognize that. We don't appreciate that. Our melanin protects us from a lot of things. Up to this very day, this is 2024, you hear statements such as, unoda kuzviita murungu here, unofunga kuti uri murungu here, unondiudza zvokuita uri murungu wangu here. Such statements just goes to show. No offense kuvarungu vekuZimbabwe. I know varungu vekuZimbabwe very patriotic. They are even more patriotic than the black people in Zimbabwe, than the natives of Zimbabwe, quite frankly. So no offense kuvarungu vekuZimbabwe. But I'm trying to drive a point home about how Zimbabweans view themselves, how disconnected we are from ourselves, how much we look down on ourselves as Zimbabweans. We teach our children not to speak Shona, not to speak Ndebele, but to speak English only. What are we teaching our children? What are we telling our children about Zimbabwe? What is going to become of Zimbabwe 10, 20, 100 years from now? Yes, Zimbabwe will be there. It won't go anywhere. Zimbabwe will still be Zimbabwe 1,000 years from now. But guess what? If we carry on the way we're carrying on, it will just be there as a physical thing, as a physical country. But the Zimbabwe as we know it, it won't be there. Our languages will be completely dead, completely gone, wiped out. Our culture will be completely gone. We'll be behaving like other people, not Zimbabweans. Everything that makes us Zimbabweans will be gone completely. And that makes me sad. It should make you sad. So this is the difference that I've noticed. So if we say that we are proud to be Zimbabweans, then we should also show it. Our deeds should reflect that. But at the moment, I don't think our deeds reflect that. Yes, we might say it. We say it. I know we say it. And I'm also one of those people who's always saying, oh, I'm proud to be Zimbabwean. But at some point, I have to ask myself, okay, I keep saying that I'm proud to be Zimbabwean. What exactly does that mean? What exactly does that entail? That is the question. That is the question, because if I'm constantly rejecting everything that makes Zimbabwe Zimbabwe, then where is my pride coming from? I mean, where is that pride connected to? This is why, according to my opinion, this is why as Zimbabweans, we keep going round and round in circles. We haven't fully embraced ourselves. We keep rejecting what makes us Zimbabweans. We keep rejecting what makes us who we are as Africans, as Zimbabweans, until we fully embrace ourselves, until we fully recognize that we can never be anything else other than Zimbabweans, other than Africans, until we reconnect with ourselves as Zimbabweans, as Africans, until we fully reconnect with our identity. Until that happens, I'm afraid we're just going to keep going round and round in circles. Until we do that, I'm afraid our focus will always be on things that don't actually give us the progress that we really want, lasting progress.